Hey everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Fantasyland Megapark. Now, in the last episode I finished this area, which is the Crystal Caves, which is this large underground area. And in today's episode I'm going to work on one of the less hospitable lands of the area. I'm going to build it over here, and it's going to be called the Bone Desert. Now, I have some really cool ideas in mind for this area, which you will all see later. I don't want to spoil everything yet. Now, of course, we're gonna need some bridges to this area, which will probably also be fun to do. So yeah, lots of stuff to do in this episode. Now, before we do any work here, let's first go name several more handymen after people who commented on the last video. Alright, here you can see the new additions to the handyman squad. These guys will now forever be sweeping vomit in the park. If you also want to become a handyman in the park, just like these people over here, just leave a fun or interesting comment on this video and you may get picked to become a handyman. Alright, I will first do some general landscaping in this area and then I'll start building the bridges to here. Alright, I've made a start on the Bone Desert, and we now have 3 bridges leading to this area. Over here we have a straight bridge. I kept it quite simple. It has these ruined rocks as the pillars. These fiery beacons, I put them the same way as I did on these other bridges. I kinda liked the way this was done. And I went for a wooden platform for the guests to walk on, and yeah, some more of these railings next to it. I think this looks really cool, and it definitely sets the tone for what this area is going to look like. Over here we have this bridge. I decided to decorate it with some bones. I think that looks pretty cool. Kinda makes it look like a ribcage of sorts. Yeah, I think it looks nice. It does look like I need to hide another support over here. There we go. And then I already prepared a bridge also leading to the area, which we haven't built yet. But yeah, I think this one also looks pretty cool. First I went for an arch bridge, and then I actually decided to put some of these rocks on the side. And yeah, I think this is actually a pretty cool combination. Kind of like looks like these rocks have already started crumbling away under this bridge. Now, as you can see, I also already made some paths here. These are temporary paths. I will probably use different textures later. I already have some stuff in mind that I want to experiment with. Now, and I think, well, it's highly likely that the guests will eventually end up getting lost here if they have to take this bridge to the next area, because this isn't a very straightforward path and has a lot of junctions. So probably later I will just make a little path that leads upwards here. Maybe a tunnel. I'll have to see what I'm gonna do here. Now this space over here is reserved for an attraction. You will see it later. What I'm gonna do first now is build the first coaster of this area. Alright, this area now has a new coaster. Now, as you can see over here, we have the station. It's kind of hidden in the skull here. And from here, these trains, which are suspended below the track, they get launched from the station. And then they pass through this track, which looks like the spine of an ancient dragon. And then here you can see it makes it to the end, partly up this hill, before it returns back through the track in reverse. Now, it actually took me several attempts to make this in a way that I liked it, especially this skull was really tricky to do. I looked at some examples that other players made in contests, especially one from Mamarias in a really old contest, a Eurofighter contest, I believe. Hey, he made a really cool dragon. And yeah, I kind of emulated that style, gave it a bit of my own twist. And I'm pretty happy with the result. It's really difficult to make something that looks nice using only track pieces. But yeah, I'm super happy with how this coaster looks. I think it's a really nice defining point in the landscape. Now I'm going to add buildings and other decoration over here. But first let's go fill in this area with another attraction. Alright, here you can see the second ride of the area. It's one of your typical Frisbee rides. I call it Arcane Hammer. And you can immediately see what I have in mind here for the rest of this area. So the backstory of this area is something like that this land was inhabited by sorcerers and wizards. And they used so much dark magic here that they drained the land of its energy. And it's now all crumbling and falling into ruins. Anyway, I'm planning to put more of these crumbled towers over here. Probably more of this pattern as well, as I quite like this checkerboard and the rest of this stone. I think it will look really cool if I add some more plazas in this theme over here. Okay, I'm just going to continue doing a bit more of this landscaping in this area of the Bone Desert. Oh, and by the way, I also gave the coaster a name. This coaster is now called Ashbone, which I think is a cool name for the ride. Alright, let's continue building here. Okay, I've now extended this path tile pattern all throughout this area. And I've also added this new ride, which I've called Dark Ritual. Basically, it's just another one of these invisible space rings rides. I really like making those, as I think it gives a cool effect to the guests. I also made this void pattern around the ride. Also made these flames in the void color. I think that gives a really eerie effect here. All I think this area needs for now is just some more shops and stalls, so maybe a bit more decoration around the rim.
One eternity later.
Alright, I've quickly added a few more things. First of all, I've added this ruined toilet over here inside this little building. I think this area could definitely use one. You can see how many guests are actually using it. So probably a good call. I just know guests are gonna get lost in this area when they have to head from this point to over here or the other way around. So I've added this little shortcut through this big rock over here. So you can see this little tunnel here, and guests can enter or exit over here on the other side as well, right under the coaster. And finally, I've also added this little plaza over here, right in the middle of this track section. And over here, I've added this stall where guests can get some ancient brew, or they can go to the stall over here where they can get some potions to drink. Yeah, overall, I'm super happy with how this area turned out so far. I think this is all I'm going to build for today's episode, as it was already quite a lot of work. Still a lot of area to fill in over here, but that will be something for the next episode. Alright, and with that, we've come to the part where I will name several more of the entertainers in the park after some of my patrons. Alright, here you can see the entertainers which I've named after my patrons. Thank you so much for the support, it's truly appreciated. And if you also want to support my channel, you can find a link to my Patreon channel in the video description. The support is truly appreciated and I hope you all enjoy your spot in the park. Alright, let's do a quick recap of everything that was built in this episode. First off, I started by building these bridges. You can see the one over here. That's the diagonal bone bridge over here. And I made this rocky arch bridge. Later I created this coaster with a giant dragon head. The coaster is called Ashbone and it travels throughout this area. I also gave it all these bone supports, which I think look really cool. After that I created this arcane hammer ride. It's one of these Frisbee kind of rides. And that's also where I started doing the floor like this. And after that I copied this floor design throughout the entire area. And I also created this ancient or a dark ritual ride. And finally added some of these shops and stalls and some toilets to this area. And altogether I think this makes for a great spooky desert vibe. And I'm super happy with how this area has turned out so far. Alright, I think we can end this video with a cinematic overview of these rides. And we can of course also take a nice ride on this coaster. If you enjoyed watching this video, please give this video a like, it would really help out my channel. I would love to hear in the comments what you think of this video. And if you want to see more of these videos, you can always subscribe to my channel. Alright, hope you enjoyed the video, I'll see you again in the next one. See you later.